The development follows a landmark ruling by the Supreme Court, which barred the General Court Martial from trying civilians and handling criminal cases, a decision that temporarily halted its operations. The court further directed that the chairman of the General Court Martial must hold the rank of the High Court judge, members must be qualified advocates, and appointment of members constituting the Military General Court Martial bench must be appointed by the Judicial Service Commission. Following the recent amendment of the UPDF Act, members appointed by the Judicial Service Commission have now officially taken office. Among those who took oath of office were Brigadier General Richard Tukachungura, Chairman, Lieutenant Colonel David D. Epeu, and Asani Mulyanti, Chairpersons of the Court Martial respectively.
I, Brigadier General Richard Tukachungura, swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will well and truly exercise the judicial functions entrusted to me, and I will do right to all manner of people in accordance with the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established and in accordance with the laws and usage of the Republic of Uganda without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
In total, over 30 members have sworn in.
Major Nyombi Abubakar, swear in the name of Almighty Allah that I will well and truly exercise judicial functions entrusted in me.
Swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will well and truly exercise the judicial functions entrusted to me, and will do right to all manner.
The Chief of Defence Forces, represented by Lieutenant General Angoz Rakashumba, the Chief of Joint Staff, welcomed the Supreme Court ruling, saying it has brought positive reforms to the operation of the General Court Martial.
As Principal Judge, I take this single opportunity to thank the justices of the Supreme Court for passing the judgment in the case of Honorable Michael Kabaziguruka on the 31st of January 2025. That judgment led to the restructuring of the courts martial and the subsequent appointments of officers who have just taken oath today. I wish to thank the Attorney General and his team for the tremendous efforts in the process of making the UPDF Amendment Act 2025 a success. In that vein, I extend my gratitude to the Parliament of Uganda for passing the Act. On a special note, I wish to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda for assenting to the Act. I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to the Judicial Service Commission for having diligently assessed the UPDF lawyers who were presented by the High Command and successfully selected the competent judicial officers in whom I have no doubt that they will effectively execute their judicial functions. My sincere thanks goes to the Land Principal Judge for sparing your time from your busy schedule and professionally presiding over the swearing-in ceremony of the court's martial judicial officers of the UPDF.
However, he noted that due to the absence of the court, this has led to the increased indiscipline, both within and outside the army forces.
In the absence of the courts martial that were existing prior to the passing of the above-mentioned judgment, the UPDF leadership has for now a span of 1 year period relied on the disciplinary measures to maintain the discipline of the force. It suffices to note that UPDF is one of the most celebrated militaries on the African continent. And how did we manage 1 year without the court sitting? We have the standing operating procedures for each unit. And then we have the non-judicial procedures. Every commanding officer, every commander has to sit with these subordinates, update them what's happening, and caution them. So surely we have not experienced a lot of indiscipline because of the absence of the courts. No. Update them what's happening and caution them.
The principal judge, Lady Justice Jane Francis Abodo, called upon the newly sworn-in members to uphold the rule of law, ethics, and the Constitution.
The Constitution entrusts us as judicial officers and quasi-judicial officers with a sacred duty to exercise power only in accordance with the law, guided by fairness, impartiality, and fidelity to justice. Today's ceremony is a reminder that every signature appended and every oath taken is a pledge to the people of Uganda that justice shall be administered without fear or favor, affection, or ill will. The ceremony embraces two distinct yet complementary institutions. First, the officers of the General Court Martial, an institution grounded in the constitutional mandate to ensure discipline and order within the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I would like to start by reminding you that a disciplined military is indispensable to the peace and security of our nation. However, the exercise of judicial power, wherever it is located, remains subject to constitutional standards. As His Excellency the President consistently says to you, men and women in uniform, the strength of a professional army lies not only in its capacity to defend the nation, but in its discipline, patriotism, respect for civilians, obedience to lawful authority, and total subordination to the Constitution. These core values must be vividly and consistently reflected in every aspect of military justice. Strong discipline and fair justice are therefore not opposing principles. They reinforce one another. A soldier who knows that justice will be administered fairly is more secure, more loyal, and more committed to justice, to service. A court that commands respect within the military must itself operate in accordance with justice, transparency, and integrity. Today, as you assume these weighty responsibilities, you solemnly commit yourselves to act with impartiality, deciding matters before you solely on the law and on the evidence that will be brought before you. Uphold the Constitution, which remains supreme over all institutions, whether military or civilian. Respect the rights and dignity of every accused person, whether a soldier or a civilian subject to military jurisdiction, and administer justice without fear or favor, affection, or ill will. As judicial officers, you carry obligations beyond normal common duties. These include observing proper court decorum and judicial ethics, ensuring fair opportunity for defense and representation, writing reasoned decisions, of course grounded in the law, and I have no doubt you'll do that because I had all the qualifications. You have them. Remaining insulated from external influence or pressure. Maintaining confidentiality and judicial temperament, and upholding the dignity of courts at all times. You must avoid actions or associations that may give rise to perceptions of bias. You must refrain from public commentary on matters before you. And you must always bear in mind that judicial authority derives solely from the constitutional mandate and is exercised on behalf of the people of Uganda. And to the members of the Leadership Code Tribunal, allow me to remind you that the Leadership Code Tribunal plays a central role in advancing integrity and accountability within the public service. This is in consistency with the principles in Chapter 13 of the Constitution and, of course, the Leadership Code framework provided for under Article 233.
I urged them to serve with impartiality and to administer justice without fear or favor.
Public office is a trust held on behalf of the people of Uganda. The Leadership Code Tribunal exists to protect that trust by ensuring that leaders uphold standards of ethics, of transparency, and of course, lawful conduct. In so doing, you reinforce equality before the law and support the constitutional vision of responsible and accountable governance. Your work strengthens public confidence. It ensures citizens that integrity is not aspirational, but enforceable. As you take up this mandate, I urge you to conduct yourselves with dignity, independence, fairness, and of course, professionalism, and to ensure that your processes respect the guarantees of justice embodied. Across both institutions, the mandates you hold are substantial and, may I add, demanding. You will inevitably encounter complex legal questions, ethical dilemmas, and intense public scrutiny and high expectations. But in all this, your campus must always remain the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, the law and the oath of office that you have just taken. Let us also remember that justice is not only about outcomes. It's about the integrity of the process. It's about listening carefully, deciding impartially, writing reasoned decisions, and conducting proceedings with humility and respect. That does not cost much. I want to emphasize once again that judicial power belongs to the people and is exercised through courts. The oath you have all taken today, whether as members of the Leadership Code Tribunal or Court Martial, represents a lifelong commitment to integrity and a reminder to exercise judicial power only on behalf of the people of Uganda. I repeat that, really, I am doing that intentionally because as sometimes we forget this and it goes to our heads and we forget that actually the justice that we are dispensing is for the people. It's for the people of Uganda. So we are ready as the judiciary, we are ready to support and guide the strengthening of judicial standards within the military courts and of course the Leadership Code Tribunal. We shall have continuous engagement, guide on best practices, and support adherence to constitutional norms. To each of you, I urge you to serve with dignity and honor to the law. May your work contribute to a disciplined force, a just system, a sound public system, and a country governed firmly and proudly by the rule of law. The oath you have taken bind you to serve faithfully, honorably, and constitutionally. Let your work strengthen confidence in public institutions and deepen the culture of accountability. And let it demonstrate that justice in Uganda, whether civilian, administrative, or military, remains anchored in the Constitution. As I conclude, allow me to underscore a principle that His Excellency, the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, often stresses. He says that institutions endure when they are built on systems, values, and rules of law, not personalities. That should always be at the back of our minds. On behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and on my own behalf as the Principal Judge today, I want to congratulate each and every one of you on the appointment and of course on the successful swearing-in ceremony that we are just concluding. I wish you wisdom, courage, integrity, in the execution of your duties.
Speaking at UBC, the chairperson of the General Court Martial, Brigadier General Richard Tukachungura, reassured Ugandans to enhance justice delivery and a more efficient court than ever before.
We are going to stick to the judicial oath that we have taken today, and we are yet to sit and we see the nature of cases that we have. But we are also, more importantly, going to comply with the Supreme Court ruling. We need to start with the new cases, which were, if they were committed before the court was constituted.
When should we expect the court to start?
It is going to start as soon as possible. After here, I'm going to sit with all the legal team. We assess, we see what are the nature of the cases, and of course there is need for transition, handing over of offices. Then thereafter we should be able to start.
The new chair, as the new head of the court, what should we expect from you personally? In terms of justice?
I can assure you that, as you have heard from the citation, I have the competency. I have been adjudicating on cases as a judge advocate, and I have over 25 years of experience as an advocate. So I'm going to stick to the judicial oath, and also, more importantly, to abide by the Constitution and other laws that we shall be using.
If you talk of the cases which are still pending in the General Court Martial, you talk of the numbers, how many are right now?
And what are you starting with?
No, as you are pending cases, I am not the prosecutor. There is the director of military prosecution. Even after here, I need to engage him and know the nature of cases that are available. So that one you can get it after we have finished our in-house meeting and when we are starting business.
Brigadier General Richard Tukachungura also talked about the public concern and perceived bias against the General Court Martial.
What I'm bringing new, as our Chief of Joint Staff said, this is the first of its kind to happen, that military courts are being manned by professionals. You can see I am qualified to be a High Court judge with two other law advocates. We constitute the court martial. The court martial is not going to sit as it used to be. We are going to be using panels. I have colonels who are of equivalent qualifications as myself. Each of those colonels with two other advocates are competent to constitute a court martial and chair a court. So I'm sure you don't expect my faces every time the court martial is sitting. You will either see one of those colonels with the three other advocates constituting the court martial. And we are going to make sure that the principal judge has been very clear, the Attorney General and everyone else, and even us as lawyers. We are going to make sure that observe the law, do whatever, avoid issue of bias. You cannot apply the law. So expect all the best. And those who have been undermining the courts, that chairpersons or courts, they are the military, but those things are always there. You reform here, they create other excuses here. So we shall see as we go along. Lastly, there is a process of appeal. You can appeal a decision of a General Court Martial to Court of Appeal and to Supreme Court. And that is the best. So that whenever you think you are not satisfied at one level, you can exhaust up to the last court in this country. So with that kind of legal procedures, I'm sure everyone has to be satisfied through that judicial process, but not publicizing in the media. You make courts of media. Let courts go through the formal process of appeal. You are not satisfied, then you appeal to Court of Appeal of Uganda, not even Court of Appeal of the Army, Court of Appeal of Uganda. Then if you are not satisfied, go to Supreme Court. And once it makes a decision, it is binding on any of the parties aggrieved.
The Deputy Inspector General of Government, Dr. Patricia Achan, who represented the IGG, said the fully constituted court would restore public confidence and strengthen trust in its decision.
The Leadership Court Tribunal in place, we have been having a compilation of cases which should be adjudicated upon by the Leadership Court Tribunal. So for me, I think today marks a significant journey and milestone in our collective journey towards upholding integrity, accountability, and also transparency in governance. The establishment of the Leadership Code Tribunal was basically designed to help foster a culture of integrity among the public servants, and also providing a guiding framework that sets a conduct for expected from leaders in government. So your mandate as a tribunal members is basically to give scrutiny, to assess and ensure compliance with these standards, and also to hold accountability on those who may fall short of this expectation. So as you embark on this crucial task, I urge you to approach it with seriousness it deserves, because your decisions will not only affect the lives of individuals out there, but it will also shape the public trust in institutions. Because many a times when we hear the public in lamentations saying the institutions of government have failed them, but your presence in that institution of the Leadership Code Tribunal and also the court martial will be pivotal in building this trust or reviving the trust in the public. The work you do here will have far-reaching implications, reinforcing the principle that no one is above the law and that we are all still accountable as leaders for our actions. So I would like to take this moment to acknowledge the importance of collaboration, because the fight against corruption and the promotion of ethical leadership requires combined efforts of various stakeholders. So we need to build partnership and strategic alliances and collaborate. My Lord, we have always had quarterly meetings with the Leadership Code Tribunal just to assess and see our progress, just to measure how far we are going and how fast we are going in adjudicating and handling those cases. Because together we create an environment where integrity thrives and where voices of people are heard, and not only heard, but also valued. So as I conclude, as you take your oath, you have taken your oath to do this noble profession, remember that the weight of the responsibility you have assumed is quite heavy. You may need to be guided by wisdom, by courage, by commitment, in order to be able to uphold the rule of law as you have taken the oath here in our presence. So thank you very much and congratulations on all of you on this important appointment. May your tenure be marked by success, integrity, and a positive impact on our nation. May God bless you as you implement your responsibilities. Happy New Year to you all.
The ceremony was attended by the Attorney General Chiriowa Kiwanuka.
Let me make 2 comments. 3. 1. Anyone who doubted the NRM government's resolve to follow the rule of law and respect the judgments of court, the evidence is before you. So if you had any doubt that we will not follow what the Supreme Court said, I think all doubt has now been cleared. Everything that the Supreme Court asked us to do, we are doing. 2, I would like to congratulate the office bearers. It's a task that you've undertaken. The oath you've taken is not a light oath. It's a very serious matter. And we trust that you will do that which you have been entrusted to do for the good of your country. Lastly, as citizens of this country, we have one most fundamental function which comes from Article 1 of the Constitution, is to choose those who will lead us. On 15th January, we have an election of the President and members of Parliament. I have no doubt that you will vote wisely. You will vote President Museveni back into office, because that's the only wise decision you have available to you. So, with those few remarks, I would like to wish you a Happy New Year and take this singular honor to invite the Honorable, the Principal Judge, to make her remarks. I thank you.